So the Mariners did not make the postseason. I think everyone's well aware of that. But 12 teams did. Mariners were better than some of those teams. I think it's fair to say. But hey, we determine things by geography and rules that were set in 1662. A little hyperbolic there and not actually a rule, just the way leagues work. But I thought I'd preview, give you my predictions for what it's going to happen, and we'll see how right or very wrong I turn out to be. Let's start in the American League. Couple of interesting series, I think. Uh, let's start with 3 versus 6, which will be Minnesota taking on Toronto. This is a interesting one to me in part because somebody's going to win a postseason series for the first time in a long time. Like I think Minnesota last won a playoff series. I think it was 2002, maybe 2005. I can't remember. I know they went to. Well, they went. No, it's got to be like 2002. They went to the ALCS. It doesn't matter. If I was a good YouTuber, there'd be like a little edit thing here that said this is the year that made it or something like that. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, and I never will. That is okay. In Toronto, it's been a long time. I think they're fairly on paper. You got to go with the Blue Jays, but a lot of their guys just didn't play all that well this year. Vlad had a disappointing season. George Springer was only okay. Bo Bichette was pretty good. Matt Chapman at times looked great, at times did not look so good. Always looks good defensively, but had some. I think if you ask Blue Jays fans, there were some abhorrent at bats late in the season. Also hit a pretty big homer, but they just haven't gelled. They just haven't really gelled this year. It's been interesting to see that they've kind of relied on their starting pitching. And it's amazing that they're doing that when Alek Manoah has been an absolute trash fire in 2023. I hope he rebounds. I think there's a good chance he will. But I mean, to say everything went wrong there is the understatement of understatements. But they got a really nice year out of Jose Barrios. They got really nice seasons out of Kevin Gausman. They got Chris Bassett. Back into the rotation is not bad with Hyunjin Ryu and Yusei Kikuchi. They're kind of based a little bit on their pitching right now, which is interesting, but they certainly have the offensive fireworks. Minnesota feels like a team that's a year away. Now, they took the big step, and I think they were very much helped by the fact that no one in the division cared. But, they're only 2 games back of where Toronto ended up. Seattle won one more game than Minnesota this year. They're a solid baseball team. Are they deserving of hosting playoff games over some of these teams? No. But they had a pretty good season. There's some really quality young talent here. There's Royce Lewis, Matt Wallner, Edouard Julien. Love saying that name. On paper, I think Toronto's the better baseball team. But the home field advantage makes this close. It does make this close. I'm still going to say Blue Jays in 3. I'll go Blue Jays in 3. I think the fact that Toronto kind of had their hearts broken by Seattle last year maybe gives them a little motivation. It's impossible to prove that stuff, I know. But I will go Blue Jays in 3, and they will advance to play Houston. Other wild card series is Tampa Bay versus Texas. I don't think anyone really saw this one coming. Everybody, I think, thought that either Texas was going to win the division or they were going to be the 5 seed or be the 6 seed, because it just looked like whoever finished second or third in the AL West was going to be that 6 seed. But no, things change. Tampa Bay, really good year. That's an understatement. They win 99 games. It's pretty unfair that they are in a better situation than Houston is, even though they won 9 more games. But that's how stuff works. That is how stuff works. I have some questions about the starters for Tampa Bay. Now, Tyler Glasnow, very good. There's some other guys there that are capable. Is it good enough. It feels like to me, Tampa Bay is more of a team that's built for the regular season than October. Now, the one thing I would point out is, yes, built for October. They also have a outfielder that is beyond built for the postseason, Randy Arozarena. I mean, it's not a small sample, folks. He's just been absolutely dominant in this stuff. Texas starting pitching is the thing. Like, I have no doubt that Texas has a good enough lineup to beat anybody. Absolutely anybody. One of the most complete lineups in baseball. You have a superstar in Corey Seager. You have a guy who's just a notch below that to me in Marcus Semien. You have, Josh Young, one of the better rookies. Evan Carter has done nothing but impress, and I think that's a huge addition for them in this postseason. Like, what he did I know it was only 63 at bats, and I only know that because I just happened to look it up recently. But he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Clearly showed that the big moments aren't something that are going to get to him. May have some struggles as a rookie in the postseason. We've seen lots of guys struggle in their first taste of postseason action. My heart wants to go with the Rangers because I think I've talked about this a lot on the channel. I want Texas to be rewarded for their spending, and they are rewarded with a postseason appearance. That's great. I think Mariner fans will happily admit that making the postseason is something they would have liked to have seen. It's not the end goal or anything like that, but making the postseason is cool. And they cut their rebuild so short, and they still have a great farm system, by the way. But my head just says Tampa Bay at home, 53-28 this season. Texas was pretty mediocre on the road, 40-41. I'm going to say Rays in 3. I think both American League series are going to be awesome. I think that those are going to be the ones, like, if you had to schedule to watch a couple of games, those would be the ones that I would be scheduling to watch. So I will go Rays in 3, and they will go advance to play Baltimore. The National League is not so interesting on paper, and this is one of the great things about baseball. On paper only means so much. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. It's always possible. If a starting pitcher has a bad day, things can change so quickly. If a lineup is just hot, things can change. If, a bullpen just has one bad fall apart, so on and so forth. These things can change. Let's start with the 3-6, which is the Mafia. No, let's start with, that was weird. It just 3-6 Mafia got stuck in my head. I've been seeing those penguin dances. You have too. I know you have. 3-6, we've got Milwaukee, Arizona. Milwaukee seems like a team that is built for the postseason. And what are we saying when we say built for the postseason, right? We're saying good starting pitching. That's what we're saying. Milwaukee has maybe the best 1 through 3 of any team right now. You have got Corbin Burns, you have got Brandon Woodruff, and you have Freddie Peralta. Let's not think about Freddie Peralta too much, Seattle Mariner fans. That's really good. And then Wade Miley's a solid 4th. You've got Adrian Hauser available as a 5th. You won't need it, but you could go that route, and you can have Hauser out of the bullpen, and that bullpen's really good too. I think if you're looking for a potential breakout star from this postseason, it might be Abner Uribe. That dude's stuff is just electric. Now, got to figure out where it's going, but just filthy, filthy stuff. He's very, for Mariner fans, Matt Brash-esque. A lot of success early on. Again, the free passes are an issue, and he doesn't quite have that wipeout slider, but that fastball, whoo boy. Arizona, Corbin Carroll, one of the better rookie seasons I've ever seen. Just start to finish, awesome. Awesome. And cool to see a local Seattle boy have so much early success. Zach Gallen is a solid starter, and he should be able to go in game 2, and Merrill Kelly in game 3. So the issues with their pitching is they are extremely top heavy. And Paul Sewald, of course, I would love to see Paul Sewald get a ring. I don't think he's going to get a ring. I do not see Arizona advancing. I'll say that they get one game. In my playoff preview I did earlier, I said for Sportstopia, which I will link in the description if I remember to. I said uh I said Brewers in 2. I'll go Brewers in 3. I'll say another 3-game series. Maybe I'm just being optimistic and wanting 3 days of baseball. I just think Milwaukee's a lot better baseball team, even with a flawed offense, to say the least. They're going to need some rookies to step up. Obviously, Arizona's going to need the rookie to step up. But it just seems like a mismatch on paper. And speaking of mismatches on papers, papers, and it depends on what size font you're using, I guess. Arizona. I distracted myself with my own bad joke. What a shocker. 4-5, you have Philadelphia, Miami. I mean, there's a pretty clear big four in the National League, right? Atlanta, the Dodgers, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. Philadelphia is just a much better baseball team than the Miami Marlins. Just a much better baseball team. And that's, why you can't be too confident. That's not why, but you can't be too confident for the reasons I explained. It just takes, especially in a 3-game series, like it just takes a couple of things to go wrong and you can win this thing. But you have to pick Philadelphia. They have the star-studded lineup. They have the better starting pitching. They have a better bullpen, which is weird to say for a Philadelphia team and also a Miami team that went 31-11 in one-run games. You want to talk about some fun differential. That's some fun differential. It's a very cool story that Miami made the postseason for a lot of reasons. But Philadelphia is just a much better baseball team. Just a much better baseball team. So I will say that's our 2-game series. I will say Phillies in 2 in that one. So that means Milwaukee goes to play Los Angeles and the Phillies will go to Atlanta. And oh, what a series that'll be. What a fun series that will be. My overall predictions, I haven't really thought about it, actually. I have to record a podcast in just a sec where I have to give these. I guess I'll give you a little sneak preview. I'm going to say the Blue Jays make a run. I'm going to say the Blue Jays win the American League. And I'm going to say Philadelphia wins the National League. And here's what I'm going to predict: a rematch. And I swear to goodness, I just thought of this. Hopefully the smile on my face proves that this is something I just thought of. A rematch 30 years later of the 1993 World Series. Chris Crawford was 10 years old and just the baseball love was just beginning to grow. The 1991 World Series between Minnesota and Atlanta kind of started it. And then 92, wasn't as interesting, but I kind of really didn't like Atlanta. I think I was just so jealous of Atlanta. There's the sheer amount of talent they had. And they were on TV every day on TBS. I think I was jealous of that too. But less interested in that. Did like the Blue Jays. That 1993 World Series, man. I know it only went 6 games, but so much drama, so many great players. I'm going to say a rematch, and I'm going to say Philadelphia wins the World Series. You're welcome, Phillies fans. I follow way too many of you. So yeah, what do you guys think? You guys make your predictions. You tell me who wins these series, who wins the World Series, who's like your breakout star that you're looking forward to watching in these postseason games. Be sure to give this video a like and hit the subscribe button if you can't. I will be recapping every single postseason day. So on Wednesday, I will go over the 4 games and talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, all that stuff. I got to do something because they're not here. They are not here. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon.